Octavia Medley turned around to see a girl standing there wearing what could be at best called an organic dress. She recalled the time Rainbow and Applejack were playing this one shooter of aliens, and one of them looked like some kind of freaking zombie alien witch, whose robes of state were embedded onto her body as if it was an exoskeleton. The dress the newcomers wore seemed very much the same, grown, not fabricated. Maybe it's time you listen to my side of the story, she said. She looked up and Octavia saw that, like Musica and herself, the newcomer had the same facial features, but that's where it ended. The newcomer had shock white hair in the same style as Octavia, and eyes that seemed to be a pale shade of violet, almost to be translucent. While it was the pupils, thin, dark lines that seemed more reptilian than anything else, seemed to echo within Octavia. After all, it's the very least you owe me, you cunt. She owes you nothing, demon, Musica tuned in the old comer. This is all your fault, you twisty bitch, so shut the fuck up, the newcomer said. This is all because you had so many stars in your eyes that you let any old dick squirt into you, that you ran and let someone else squeeze the man pace into you. So don't get to say about what I have to tell little Miss Frizzipants here. The newcomer turned to Octavia. You owe me, you twice-born freak. You owe me for every moment you breathe and every second you last. You owe me, and I don't see why I don't get what's due. What do you mean, what's due? Octavia asked. I don't know who you are. You should. The newcomer snarled, cutting her off. After all, it's my fingers you let slip into up your taco when you think of how you want to take Twilight sing like an opera star. Oh, wait. You're not the one thinking of that. I am. Because it's my mind. You're just a parasite on the body. The stupid fuck who got handed the keys to the car that ain't hers. I don't. Now it's Octavia's turn to pause as he realized with horror. You're. Yes, I am. Congratulations. You're not as stupid as you seem. That's right. I'm your unborn sister. The one that could have lived. Should have lived. The one your stupid psycho decided to play Pac-Man with and absorb me, denying me my life. All of this is your fault as much as that ancient sluts! The newcomer swung her hand out, backhanded Octavia hard, sending her crashing to the ground. Stop it, Musica shouted. I will not let you harm my descendant. Of which I was one, or going to be, the newcomer shouted at her. That is until Octi here did the octopus thing and absorbed me like she was the blob. She turned back to Octavia, who was still on the ground, and took offense of it, kicking her in the side. So, how does it feel to hurt? Just like you hurt me, you skunk! I didn't mean, Octavia gasped through the pain. You didn't mean what? To take away my body, my life? Did you ever wonder why you are named Octavia Medley? Because you're two people in one. You, Octavia, and me, Medley. You stole my life. You took everything from me. And now I'm going to take it back. What? I did. Octavia asked, but instead got kicked in the face for it. You will speak when you're spoken to, bitch, Medley told her. You've already had a lifetime, more than I ever did, to say something. She then turned to Musica, preempting her interruption. And I told you to shut the fuck up! The only reason you're here is because your little too much sweet mind is fracturing, and you both me and you in. She is my precious grandchild, Musica said sharply to Melanie. You are nothing more than an abomination. What you don't think I've seen you doing to her mind? You're twisting her love for her cousin into something sexual and abhorrent. Yeah, well, someone has to appreciate that hot bond Twilight has, especially at times we've seen her in a delicate situation. Oh, that makes me cleany. I don't know about you. Shut up! Octavia screamed. Leave Twilight alone. Leave Sunny alone. They're my family! Tears came to the girl's face. Why are you doing this? Because you're damned, Medley said. Twice child of your parents. Twice however many great-grandchild of this bitch here. She cued, pointing at Musica, who huffed. All of us carry her curse, and lucky you got it twice. Because one of your great-grandparents had kids with someone who was a descendant of Musica. That meant one of us would be free, and one of us would have the curse. Maybe if I was born, I'd be locked up in the funny farm because I would have made Twilight my love slave. Hell, could have been a three-way between you, me, and Twilight. Medley paused her fingers against her body dress, then continued. But you took my birthright and made it yours. Pretty much literally, so you get the whole pockets, both the good and the bad. But I think you had enough time at the wheel. My turn to drive now. How do I know you're not lying? Octavia said. How can I believe anything you say? You're the one dreaming here, Frosty Fudge, Medley told her. You tell me. It was odd, Sunset decided, be knocking on her door from within. She heard somebody say she could come in. It still felt odd to Sunset and needing another's permission to enter her own room. I'll buy you some soup, Blossom. She sat down at her desk. You feeling okay? Yeah, just tired. Blossomforth admitted. Thanks for letting me your room while we're stuck here. Hey, I'm just sorry that you can't sleep down there with all of us, Sunset told her. After you eat, if you want, I can help you downstairs. Thanks. I hate feeling like a useless, bloated shut-in, she admitted. Thankfully, this should all be over soon. Wow, next month, Sunset said, giving her friend a smile. Motherhood. Challenge of a lifetime. Blossomforth nodded. Yep, a daughter. And I know that little Sunset Blossom will love her auntie for all she's done. Sunset pointed at, You're naming your daughter after me? Sonny, I've said it before. You've been there every way that Flash hasn't. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to be a father. But you've never let me down. You've given this little girl the chance she needs to be what all little girls should be. Better than her parents. So I've had to name her after her role model. An auntie that would never let her down. She closed her eyes briefly and said, I know you're not religious, Sonny, but I am. I'm a pastor's daughter, so it's in the blood. And there's a position known as godparent. Someone who's always going to tend to her child, to take care of her in if there's no one left. I want you to be my daughter's godmother, Sonny. You mean that? Sonny asked. She knew what a godmother was, sure. While there wasn't anything of the sort in Equestria, Sunset had come across the concept over the years here on Earth. What she discovered was that it varied depending on culture and situation. What Blossomforth was asking for Sunset to, in fact, become a second mother for her child. That was something that made Sunset blush inwardly. It was a huge honor. Blossomforth smiled. Sonny, with all you've done for me, if you were a guy, I seriously consider Merrick's proposal instead of asking you to be a godparent. Not planning it out anytime soon, I'm afraid, Sunset said with a laugh, but I accept being Sunset's godmother. Blossom leaned forward and hugged her friend. Thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. Anytime. Go ahead and eat the soup, and I'll come back in 10 minutes to bring it downstairs, okay? Okay, thanks again. Sunset leaned on the doorframe and nodded. Hey, that's what friends are for, right? And Sunset headed towards the stairs. She encountered her mother Defee. Sorry to intrude, dear, but I heard what Blossom said. It's a big responsibility. You sure you're up to it? Sunset nodded. I want to. I know I shouldn't, but I feel particularly responsible for what happened to Blossom. It's taken months for her and Minnie to parse what they've been through. And no, it wasn't either their faults. But there's a part of me that keeps saying that if I cared more, Flash wouldn't have done what he did to them. And maybe you would have been a victim instead, Sonny, Velvet told her. The guilt isn't yours, and taking it on is neither healthy or healthful. But if you truly wish to take responsibility of being the godmother of Blossomforth's daughter, then I'm proud of you, Sonny. The team blushed. Thanks, Mom. I wish I knew what to do with your cousin, Velvet said aloud, and Sunset caught that. Mom, is there something you're not telling me about Tavi? Velvet nodded. We were able to get hold of your aunt and uncle this morning. They want us to take Tavi in for counseling. I know she's already been through that in the aftermath of what happened back in January, but I feel this is worse. Her eyes moistened with complete chemical fluid. She's hurting, Sonny, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I could go through another round what we went through with your sister. Speaking of which, I'm going to take her to the doctor next week, after they've had time to settle down from the hurricane. That's, of course, assuming that everything goes well, and I doubt it will. Mom, if there's anything I could do to help, Take care of your sister. This'll hurt Twilight. She's not as strong as you or Tavi. This'll probably hurt all of us to some degree or another, and I mean to rely on you. All part and parcel being adopted, Sunset said with a smile. Velvet laughed and hugged her daughter close to her as the tears for her niece flowed. Elsewhere, Sandalwood leaned back in the bathtub, feeling both a mixture of pride and shame. Pride, because he had 2 girls at his beck and call tonight. 2 that would do anything he wanted. Anything. Shame, because this is what the younger girl wanted. She wanted this, or else she exploded everything that he and Coffee had, ruining them both. It was a fucked up situation all around. Considering that you're in an incestuous love affair with your, stepsister, it's fucked up anyway. It didn't help things that he probably enjoyed having fun with Prismatic, and was sure he was going to be in a doghouse with Coffee just for that. But he couldn't himself. It was just biology, and he wasn't entirely willing. His heart still belonged to her, and he still loved her more than anything. He was sure that after this, Prismatic would find someone new to entertain herself with, and he and Coffee could begin rebuilding their relationship together. He thought about it, and thought maybe once school started, they could go somewhere together for Columbus Day weekend. He knew his father and stepmother would be out, and that meant to have had to leak into themselves. He stepped out of the tub, reaching for the tub drain strips, letting the hot water flow out. It was one of Prismatic's stupid idiosyncrasies. She didn't want to have sex with anyone that was dirty, so that meant every time he rested, he was going to have to shower before they did anything again. It was beyond stupid. He really didn't want to do anything with her to begin with. He wanted to spend time with Coffee, love her, then fall asleep in her arms like true couples did. Prismatic was only using them for her own needs, and making him angry to think about that as he toweled off. Well, she wanted to give it to her and her alone all weekend, and make Coffee watch. Well, he would do just that, and he sure it would hurt. Tying a towel around his midsection, he left the bathroom and headed towards the guest bedroom, where it was all happening. As he walked in, he was surprised to see 2 new girls standing there. Then he saw the blood, sprays of it everywhere, and laying on the bed, their eyes wide open as the gas in their throats, was Coffee and Prismatic. He gasped in shock, and the spasm of his body caused the towel to fall off. One of the girls looked to the other. "See? I told you. I know I could smell these things, can't he?" So he then looked at Sandalwood appreciatively. "Well, I can see why I can smell those sorts of things." Kennesaw looked at him mentally. "Yeah, well, just kill him and get out of here." Sandalwood turned and was about to run, when suddenly he was pushed down on the floor. "Oh, honey," the first girl commented, "you don't get to run. What you do get is me. I'll make you a deal. I haven't had a guy in a while, so give me the best time a girl's ever had, and I'll make sure you die easily. If not, well, I can do slowly and painfully." Kennesaw facepalm. "We don't have time for this, Med. We don't have to report to the station for the next 4 hours. We have all the time in the world, Kenzie. And I want to have some fun. Tell you what, go make a sandwich at 12 and leave me with my temporary boyfriend here, okay?" "Fine, whatever. Just don't leave any trace when you're done." What are you going to do to me?" Sandalwood asked, the horror of what was happening getting sensibly worse by the second. He tried to struggle, but this girl pinning him down was too strong. She got to her feet in a single hand. She effortlessly dragged him to the next room, his parents' bedroom, throwing him on the bed and leaping on top of him again. With him snugly pinned under her body, she reached into a pocket on her belt and pulling against the wire. She then tied his wrist to the headboard. "I usually use these to strangle people, so to be careful, don't want to hurt yourself." She then got off, "Stop laughing!" him and tied his legs to the footboard, giving him just enough clearance to squirm. "Now then," she said as she closed the door, "my name's Mentally Trance, and I'm your new girlfriend. I like what you have as a boyfriend, and the longer we have fun here, the longer you get to live." She unzipped her vest, revealing that she wore nothing underneath. "Now, I understand that you just lost a girlfriend." She looked at the wall between this room and the other one. "Or 2, and I feel for you. I really do. I just lost a girlfriend myself. But I have to admit, the best way to get over a bad relationship is a nice, long, fun time. Not according to my psychological reports, but hey, you do you, sweetheart." See, they kicked off her boots, removed her socks. They removed her wet belt, pants, and underwear, standing there nude as he. Once again, this fic presents me with a naked woman and ruins it! Normally, I want to go on a date before getting this intimate. I am a traditional kind of girl at heart, but we're in a rush here. She leaned over to him and kissed him, though he tried to squirm out of it. This seemed to interest her more. All I'm gonna say is this. Give it your best shot. Don't worry about me. And if I get a bun in the oven, I'll think of you fondly. So, it might cut my style for a bit. Walking to the kitchen, Candace opened the fridge, staring at all the shit inside it. Or rather, the lack of shit inside it. She hated to admit, but she was feeling hungry. Again. She always been the kind of girl that burnt off a lot of calories, but since she'd taken the serum, she felt a lot hungrier. Dustin's bed seemed a lot hornier, and Alto seemed a lot more Machiavellian than previous. Maybe it was the serum doing it to them, intensifying who they were at their cores. But Candace didn't really care. She wasn't a member of the team paid to think. Didn't these idiots know there's a hurricane going on? The first was not bare. Fine during a normal situation, but there was the aforementioned hurricane, or the stores will locally be closed for a few days because nobody would be able to get to them. Candace figured they were lucky. She and Bentley were here to kill them. The three little rabbits would have starved to death beforehand. Still, there was nothing to put together to eat, nothing to feed out of the package, and she was getting really hungry. When that happened, she got really cranky. She then felt a lump on her foot and looked down. A cat purred gently. Oh no, rubbing against her. The critter had to be Hallie's house pet. Oh no! And in a house where the occupants would be very dead soon. Well, at least one not already dead. Leaving this poor animal to starve would be a crime. Don't you dare! Don't you do it! Gazelle felt herself naturally sliding into her ultra form as she smiled. She could take care of two problems at once. Now. Don't look! Elsewhere. The Mags carried the covered stretchers out scowling. This would cost them overtime. It was on their own, too. Meanwhile, Katana gave orders for security to double the watch standing, hurricane or no. I want everyone to get that petty officer Slice talked to in the past 48 hours in my office in 10 minutes. I want to get to the bottom of this immediately. Understood? The guards on site saluted her and went out to carry out her orders. Petty Officer Russ, please tell us what happened again, Rhapsody Blue asked. Cotterell stood there, having her arm wrapped around one of the Megs who were on site. She was in pain, a sign that something had happened to her. Yes, ma'am. I was jogging down there as part of my workout, since we're not authorized to go outdoors due to the weather, and the gym is full at the moment, so I figured I'd be out of the way. As I was running past, I heard some giggling and someone scream. This is what happens when you betray the crown. Wondering what was going on, and opened the door, and there I saw Harmonica, that is, Petty Officer Slice, slamming down to Commander Thrust with an axe. There was blood everywhere, and she shook her head and shaking out the nightmares that would come. She then turned around and had a gun on her. She said that she was assigned deep cover by CSIS to infiltrate and destroy us if we ever went rogue. I had a hard time believing that, Rhapsody stated. We've been airtight with checking our groups for moles. And yet we've had 2 senior officers killed in a matter of days. Katana cowered. And so, they got someone close to us, and we just paid the price. I want to find out whoever is responsible or whoever else might be a part of this. She turned her into control. Please, Petty Officer, continue. Yes, ma'am. She pulled the trigger, but I guess something went wrong, because the round never went off, so she attacked me with the axe. I wasn't quick enough, so it hit me in the shoulder. She then rushed forward with a knife, but I dodged it and threw her to the wall. When that dazed her, I grabbed her pistol, wrestled it away from her, fired 2 shots, killing her. I was able to pull the alarm before I passed out. She winced again into soldier injury. I'm sorry, ma'am. I know I should have tried to subdue her. No, you did what you had to, Petty Officer Rush. Rhapsody said, Thank you for your report, Captain. If you don't mind, I need to go talk to Sub-Lieutenant Symmetrical Storm. She's the only one who could take over that intel position. Do so, Katana ordered. Also tell her she's getting a promotion to lieutenant, effective immediately. Her first assignment is to sweep all records for any discrepancies. This disaster not only puts us in danger, but our benefactor as well. And we cannot afford for the prince to be harmed by any potential threats. Understood? Understood, as she said with a salute and wandered off. Katana looked at the mag and said, I'd like to take a couple more minutes to talk to Petty Officer Russ. So I'll escort her to her quarters. You can head back to the station. The mag nodded and left. As he did, Katana looked at her testily. Truth, now. Bleh. Katana said with a shrug. Would you rather I had told everyone? Or that your intel officer got fucked to death by Seaman Trance, and I had to kill Petty Officer Slice and fake everything to make it look realistic? So she didn't hit you in the shoulder with an axe? Katana rolled her eyes. She probably could have hit the inside of a toilet bowl when she craps. No, I did it to make myself look like convincing. She was already dead by then. I see. Katana looked at Control unevenly and said, Next time, you are to clear with me before you do anything like this again. Furthermore, Seaman Trance is to keep her pants on until further notice. I don't want her to so much as blow a kiss at her siren. Understood? Crystal clear, ma'am. Anything else? Yes. Go find your two fellow troublemakers and hide out somewhere else another night. You have until tomorrow to capture the targets. We have a defined window tonight before the next part of whatever Prince Define wants. You already know anything he wants, he gets. Understood, ma'am. You have a nice day. Octavia lay down on the ground in place, feeling herself kicked and kicked repeatedly by the being that called herself Medley, the entity that claimed to be her unborn sister. Meanwhile, her ancestress, Musical Electra, kicked and stretched in vain in an attempt to pull Melody out of Octavia. I hate you. Do you know that? Medley screamed at Octavia as he delivered another kick to her. Why don't you just die and let me live? Leave her alone, you monster! Musica screamed as he pulled hard as he could to save Octavia. Help me, Octavia whimpered. She was alone, abandoned. Her parents had abandoned her. Her aunt and uncle, or practically her other parents, ignored her. Her cousin Twilight, her sister, practically in all but name, ignored her. And the one person who was responsible for it all wasn't here. She didn't even figure into this. Why should she? She was a stranger till recently. Until Octavia had grown to love her, things were changing. But when Twilight moans, she calls out Sunny's name. Huh? Melody cheered, and checking Octavia in between the legs. Though it reportedly would hurt a guy more than her, she still felt the pain of the strike and screamed out, You're fine. Musica shouted, I'll end you out. Okay, I've had enough of your shit. Melody snarled, turning on Musica. Melody's arm burnt with green fire, and a punch that would have made a heavyweight boxer proud. She punched through Musica's chest, withdrew her arm, and a hand pulled out a bullying, pulsating spear of light. Musica looked at the spear in Melody's hand, then Melody, and whispered, Please, save yourself, granddaughter, before falling to the ground and breaking into nothing but ash. Holding the ball, Melody pulled Octavia to her feet. So, cunt. Or is that big sis or little sis? Which one are you? It doesn't matter. It's just you, me, and your insanity now. No, leave me alone, Octavia begged. She felt her strength failing. When Music had gone, her will had all but capitulated. Oh no, you and I are going to have some fun. You've wanted this for a long time, so have I. Medley brought the spear to her hand and with a few bites ate it. Please, you can harm me. Do whatever you want, but leave my family alone, Octavia begged. Now, that's just views as a defeat, she knew. But this monster was going to destroy her and harm her loved ones. Octavia had to try. Oh no, sister dear. You get the waltz. You get the waltz as I have, Medley said, bringing her face closer to Octavia's. You get to see it all and feel everything, just as I have. I'm tired of your goody two-shoes life, Tavi. Time to show you how life I really lived. With that, Medley leaned forward and kissed the individual supposedly her sister. She pulled her into the embrace, tongue probing and holding her tight, despite Octavia's attempts to fight back. A struggle was soon ceased as Octavia and Sully joined in the kissing. Their clothes melted away, leaving the two sisters bare. Medley smiled viciously. Now, it's time to show you that it's better when sisters are together, she said as he kissed Octavia's body, hanging downwards, and reality shattered to a billion pieces. Meanwhile, back with Shining. And a futile led to dodge the rain. Shining left the SUV had been issued by the FBI for the duration of the storm and waded to the diner. One of the few places that risked remaining open while the weather raged outside. It was a little green slice of heaven that catered heavily to first responders. As he walked in, he grabbed a towel that had been laid out on the table by the entrance so he could dry his hair. Coffee, and a beef hero, if you please, he told him. He then looked around at all the other cops and emergency responders from the various agencies and gave them a friendly nod. Due to the emergency, they were all pretty much a semi-unified force. He then wandered to a booth where he saw a familiar face. "Hey, Mel. Thought you'd be home with the family." Natalie Jasmine grinned. "Thought you'd be home, snuggling up to Cadence. Since your answer is the same as mine, I'll have to split the difference and moan and wine together, right?" He laughed. "Anything new on the front?" "No, not really. Though it sucks having you there. The joke of back at the station. Anything new with the thieves and dead head case?" He shook his head and looked out the window. "All we're doing is finding them just after they're killed, with no indicator of who's next or why beyond another tarot card. There are some parallels of a case that happened down south in LA during the 80s, but nothing clear that indicates that they're related or even the same killer. Still, we have some promising leads and we're hoping for a breakthrough." "Good. The fucker needs to be put away to good," she insisted. At that point, they brought Shining his gyro and heard the Greek salad she ordered. She took a bite or two and said, "How's your partner doing? Sandalwood?" "Sandy's taking it hard. One of the Fixos was her next door neighbor. Ruby Tuesday. She's putting in practical overtime to get this done. She's a bit on the obsessed side, and I think there's something else going on, but she won't tell me. I think Katie knows, but she's letting Sandy handle it her way." "I see," Natalie said, taking the bear-shaped honey dispenser and pouring it into her tea. "Well, all I can say is I hope it works out well. Before everything goes to hell, you get a clue." "What's that supposed to mean?" She laughed. "You'll figure it out someday, Shining." Octavia opened her eyes. She felt released. Great. With a purpose once more. She felt a part of her mind scream out that something was wrong. Something was terribly, horribly wrong, but she ignored it. She paid attention to that part of her mind for too long, and now she was well overdue for some fun. She withdrew her hands for any for pajama bottoms. Her hands were sticky, as were her undies and said pajama bottoms, but that was okay. There was clarity in that. A gate long closed had been opened, and she was a new Octavia. Let the old one scream in her mind, she thought, mentally flipping off that part of her persona. She had plenty of ideas and thoughts now. She opened her closet, trying to find out what to wear. Frankly, what she saw disgusted her. Feminine, but not too feminine, clothing was in. All conservative and bland, and as interesting as watching molds grow in a collaboratory culture desk. Why should she hide her body? She was a sexual being, with all that came with it. She wanted to peel back everything, because right now, everything felt so good. She began to look through her clothing. Stuff she bought a while back, but never wore because it was too risque, too conservative for Octavia Medley. No more. She was now the person who she was destined to be, and someone said she was high. Oh yes, she was. High on her own libido. Slipping the clothing on, she felt giddy for the first time. She looked at herself in the mirror. Mid-dress shirt she considered too high, pants cut too low, drawstring panties stiletto ears. Moving over, she saw something that she defined too much of her life, her contrabass. Good little Miss Octavia played the instrument that her parents wanted her to. Good little Octavia who always did what the adults in her life wanted. Good little Tavi was always a perfect older sister for Twilight, and never the girl who fucked, who toked, who sucked, who drank, flipped out the cops and didn't give a shit about anything or anyone. Good little Twilight Tavi needed to be taught a lesson. Grabbing the instrument by the neck, she swung it as hard as she could on the ground. The instrument cracked at the first strike, then busted open in the second. Not enough. She grabbed her acoustic guitar and swung against that wall, what was left of the contrabass, hammering one string work of art against another until they both shattered like twigs. Then she reached for an electric guitar, a gift. She reached over her head, ready to smash that to bits as well. "You shouldn't have. We thought you would like it. I don't have one, so we saved one to get for you. I love it, thanks. I love you both, you know that." Octavia held the instrument above her head, trying to find the strength to break it. She couldn't. She didn't know why. She couldn't. She threw the guitar on the bed, then went back to moving stuff away from the door. Only what she could. She finally freed herself and opened the door. Meanwhile, downstairs, "I'll always love you, Setsuna." "Kiss me, Hideo." The girls were at the moment watching an NHK drama piped to the television via Fluttershy's laptop, a hobby of hers. Fluttershy had fan-subbed it personally, and while the translation was spot on, there wasn't something about the two lovers in Tokyo that quite translated to the gaggle of teens one adult watching. Can we watch some anime next? Lyra asked. At least that's in English. Flares is a sub-purist, Rainbow grunted. She watched it raw as she could. Well, maybe we could get Bonnie to translate, right, hun? Lyra suggested, winking to her hun. Yes, because all us agents are just the same. We just swap our ethnicities when we're bored. Bonbon groaned. Well, Velvet said, sitting on the couch next to her daughters. Personally, I find this fascinating. Fluttershy, do you have any more of these? Yes, Mrs. V, Fluttershy said with a soft smile. I could burn them to a DVD if you like. Well, let me go get my flash key. We'll copper whatever you recommend. Then I go watch upstairs in my room that I don't disturb you all in. She heard footsteps on the stairs and looked up. Octavia walked down in a sultry manner. Her shirt, or what little of it there was, seemed to barely float above her breasts. Not that anything too easily discernible, given that the shirt was cut from the bottom to a point, just barely covering her nipples. Her pants were cut so low that it made her drawstrings panties obvious. Mama and Lyra, the lesbians present, looked at her as if the gods of sex had descended into the Elstree plane. I'll take your eyes off Octavia, who knew she was being ogled, Lyra said. Bonnie, you know I love you, right? Not taking eyes off the sex pot in front of her, Bonbon said, I love you too, Ly. And yes, I'm thinking the same thing you are right now. Tavi? Seven girls said at once, unwilling to believe what they were seeing. Octavia said went up to Bonbon and whispered something into her ear, then whispered something to Lyra's. Okay, now I know this is bullshit, Bonbon said as if getting a joke. I remember you telling me there was this guy you liked over at Munsinger. Now you're telling me all of a sudden you bet for the other side? Yeah, right. Want to test me? Octavia purred. Trust me, right now, I don't care what gender it is. Several girls blinked in surprise. This was not the snarky, but overall quiet girl they knew. Okay, cuz, I don't know what game you're playing, Sunset Dinner interjected, but you owe Twilight an apology for what happened last night. Octavia then turned her eyes on Sunset, looked at him and was murderous. You want to know what game I'm playing, you lying good-for-nothing bitch? Octavia then reeled back and slicked Sunset in the face as hard as she could. Sunset reeled back. Octavia took a knife from a nearby stand and smashed it over the flame girl's head, drawing blood as Sunset collapsed on the floor. Taffy, what the hell are you doing? Applejack said, grabbing her friend's arms while the others went to see Sunset. Twilight, however, was the exception. She merely stood in front of Sunset as a sealer from Octavia. Taffy, what's gone into you? Twilight cried. Pulling out her restraints, Octavia screamed, Twilight, if you have any sense, get away from that backstabbing scab before she hurts you too! That lying cunt needs to be put down! She's your cousin, my sister! Twilight shouted back. She's a constant that needs to be cut off! Octavia roared. She continued to squirm and push against Applejack's grist, and the look in her eyes that was barely human. Octavia Besley, what's gotten into you? Velvet shouted. Let's solve your goddamn business, what's gotten into me? She shouted at her aunt. If you actually give a shit about this family, you'll take a kitchen knife and slit that scumbag's throat before she ruins us all! Shocked by her niece's behavior, Sylvia reacted on automatic, doing one thing she'd never done to any of her children. Octavia included before. She was stunned by her niece's incident behavior, and honestly felt irrationally. By the time Velvet hurriedly realized what she'd done, the red mark of her palm had already appeared on Octavia's cheek. But there was nothing compared to what happened next. Raised by her aunt's apparent betrayal, Octavia broke free of her friend's restraints and threw another punch, hitting Velvet right in the stomach. That seemed to snap Octavia out of her behavior, as she saw the stunned look on her aunt's face before Velvet crashed to the ground. Piggy moved to Velvet's side in an instant. Looking at Octavia, Piggy said words that cut the musician to the core. She raised you! How could you? I didn't, Octavia had become a loss for words, but this second later found them. Looking at the unconscious Sunset with pure hatred, she snarled, This is your fault! She took one step towards Sunset. All it took as Applejack pulled her back, and Bonbon moved to a striking posture, aimed right at Octavia's throat. One more step, and you'll be breathing out a straw for the rest of the month, Bonbon hissed. What's going on here? Everyone turned to see Nightlight step out of his office, an angry look on his face. It only took a second to see Octavia being restrained. Velvet Sunset on the ground, and Twilight shielding them both, tears in her eyes.
Go to your room, Octavia Medley, he said in a cold voice. I don't know what you did, but apparently being grounded isn't anywhere near enough. You're not to come out of that room until I tell you. Understood?
Still not believing what just happened, all she could do was numbly nod. Bonbon and Applejack took a look at each other and nodded in silent agreement. I'll take the first watch, she said sadly. Raising Octavia's arm behind her back, she said, Come on, stop making it harder than it already is, Taffy. Please. With that, Applejack led the silent girl back to her room. Now he found himself in the middle of a bunch of shocked girls. His unconscious daughter and dazed wife. Girls. He said to all present, I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry you saw that. It's okay, Mr. Light, Trixie said, unsure what else to say. Picking up the unconscious Sunset, she said, Someone grab her feet and help me carry her to her room. Rainbow nodded and helped her friend to carry her precious cargo upstairs. Go, Twilight, Rarity told her friend. Your sister needs you now. Teary, Twilight nodded and followed Trixie and Rainbow upstairs. The fashionista looked at Pinkie and Minuet, who were attending to Velvet. How's she doing, Gus? I'm no doctor, but I know enough first aid I can see she looks okay, she replied. As Pinkie held Velvet to her feet, Minuet said, I'm gonna go check on Sunny. You guys got a first aid kit? In the girls' bathroom, Velvet numbly mumbled as Minuet nodded and ran step. Night helped his wife to the couch while the girls tried to clean up the mess. What happened, hon? Taffy's in trouble, was all Velvet could say. She's worse than we thought. What's going to happen to our girl tonight? As tears came to the woman once more, her husband held her in comfort. Outside, as if a symbol of chaos that unfolded within the house, rain and winds continued to howl and last as the whole of Canterlot, portending worse things to come.